Shalom. Giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect. News and prophecy, where we link the things happening worldwide to the Holy Scriptures, so you can upgrade your biblical worldview as you should be viewing everything around you according to prophecy. As the scriptures say in 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter, we are to measure the times diligently. All right. And the prophets have been set up here in these latter days, all right, to give you knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. All right. And a message to fear Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, as the powers that be are trying to establish, you know, their new world order, their new age, you know, their technological renaissance, where we see AI being boasted in, you know, as the way of the future, less human, you know, activity needed, more surveillance, you know, via AI. All of these things are being boasted in because this is the very end of this beast system, as John the Revelator recorded his vision in Revelation, the 13th chapter. We're living in it as they are entering into Industry 4.0, or the fourth industrial revolution. And in a nutshell, as you can see here, Klaus Schwab, you know, he's always, he's pretty much the face of the World Economic Forum, which deals with, you know, this carbon agenda, and the agenda to hijack humanity, all right, and save the earth from human beings. Well, the earth needs to be saved from you devils, and technology is not the answer, okay? The answer is righteousness. The only way this mess can be fixed is through righteousness, which only comes through the Son of the Most High God, Yahweh, which his Hebrew name is Yahweh Shai, okay? Justice and judgment, and this earth being brought back to paradise can only be done through Yahweh Shai. Technology, artificial intelligence, and merging man with machine is not the answer to the earth's issues, but this is what they're presenting to you. And they're saying it in a very fancy way that, you know, captivates the minds of the people. You have the miracles they're able to do with their technology, and people are wooed. All right, but synonymously, you know, we're seeing all of these crazy events take place, which we told you, all right, they need these black swan events. They need these things to happen to justify the legislation that they're getting ready to bring forth. And today we're going to deal with the situation with the airplane and, you know, the solutions that they're offering and bringing forth from the issues that you see. All right, because these false flag events are going to continue happening. We know the left hand is at work, but in a nutshell, you know, the fourth industrial revolution, which the first industrial revolution started where? All right, in the UK, all right, amongst the British. Okay, you know, you can go back into the age of enlightenment, you know, which is an extension of this beast system, which America is the last leg of it, along with the NATO and the EU. But the technological, all right, or the talking point of an industrial revolution started in the British, all right? And from there you had the first industrial revolution, you had the second industrial revolution, you had the third industrial revolution. Now you have the fourth industrial revolution, where it's a technological revolution that is blurring the lines between the physical and digital and biological spheres. So the physical, digital, and biological spheres, all right, merging the physical with the digital, okay? And John the Revelator, all right, although you hear these devils, it's this complex plan, John the Revelator simplifies it with the fact that he's going to want you, right, to put a mark in your forehead or in your hands, okay? And we can clearly see, all right, this particular individual here has been linked with Donald Trump's, cabinet. And since Trump has got in, AI and technology and all of these things have been at the forefront of what he plans to do. You see, while people are, clapping and cheering that, he's putting things back in order as far as, the gender mess that was made by the left. People are clapping about some things that he's doing as far as, getting, everything out that's draining the system, so to speak. People are applauding, Trump's talking points, his boldness, but what a lot of people aren't paying attention to is how all of a sudden technology is at the forefront of a lot of what they're planning to do. Now, what we've seen, over these last couple of weeks dealing with airplanes, it was prophesied in that movie, Leave the World Behind, that airplanes would be falling out of the sky. We've been seeing that. But, something's going on with these airplanes. Here it is, United Airlines flight evacuated after engine issue reported, and it pretty much caught fire. Okay, we saw this situation in DC, where a helicopter just ran into an airplane. All right. You had a situation in New Jersey where an airplane just fell out of the sky, right? Just fell out of the sky, killing 6 people, it says, right? You have that number 6 again, so the solution that these devils are going to bring to these issues dealing with airplanes is going to be digital. The solution for everything that we see happening as an issue, including, illegal immigrants, it all is going to be fulfilled in this digital system, this new Tower of Babel that they have planned. Okay, so I want to start with this video here from Hurting Humanity, and it's called An American Airlines Horror Story. As always, coincidence theories are everywhere to be seen. Okay, and I think he's talking about conspiracy, but let's just listen to him, get some scriptures, and hopefully you brothers and sisters be edified, because the powers that be are trying to accomplish something, that was attempted by Nimrod with the Tower of Babel, where he had control over, all people were to come up under his control, all right, via the tower. Well, now all of that has gone technological, and there's even, particular articles being done where people are linking it. We've been linking it, but we can see that people are catching on. All right, which, Lord willing, if we get into this, we will. But the Tower of Babel and the ideology of AI, all right, where the powers that be are trying to make a name for themselves. Now, how does this tie to this plane crash situation? Well, let's take a listen and show you what we mean.
There are so many defense mechanisms on these things. They wouldn't get within a certain amount of feet, let alone yards, let alone anywhere near the airspace the way that they were, unless, of course, it was part of a plan. And obviously, there's tons of theories circulating out there about why it happened. I'm sure we'll hear more. I mentioned in my previous video, which is up.
Yeah, Trump just threw out DEI, basically saying that the hire was some low IQ, and it was, and that's all being tied to so-called blacks. But it comes out that it was actually some Edomites that were supposedly manning that helicopter. And again, the technology on those helicopters would not even have allowed, all right, a crash like this. We know something's up, but we'll get more into the actual agenda of linking, so-called blacks and the poor, and calling out DEI and speaking of low IQ people. But let's go back here because there's many theories, but let's just stick to the facts and the agenda that can come forth from this and what they're doing, because the devil operates in a very satanic and crafty manner. As the scriptures say, the serpent was more subtle than any of the beasts of the field, so he operates in some high level subtlety and sorcery, okay? And he uses scare tactics, because people actually die in these situations, but there are situations that they set up
over on the Nation's Conspired channel, which I recommend people subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I talked about how they would start using DEI as a surface level way to draw in the sleeping minds out there, to get them to think that this is something to do with DEI, or it doesn't, that keeps the Republicans and the Democrats fighting. But really, if you pay attention to the narratives, it's all about one thing: building new infrastructure. The fourth industrial revolution, which I can't harp on enough, no pun intended with the word harp, I cannot emphasize enough that everything they're doing is implementing Klaus Schwab's fourth industrial revolution, which is AI governance, which means everything has to run through artificial intelligence. Everything.
Even you. Because one of the things that Klaus Schwab says with the fourth industrial revolution is not only does the world change, but humans change. How humans are identified changes. Everything changes. See?
You're not going to have airports running independently with human beings while all cars and vehicles are autonomous. Everything is going to be run and controlled by it. That's why when you see the picture that the World Economic Forum uses on their website about smart city governance, you see everything.
See, everything is boasted and being taken over, by AI. Okay, they have a blueprint for the future. You see what I'm saying? And John the Revelator simplified it with the MOTB. All right, but we know, as the scriptures say, the prophets search out a matter. Now, this is a robot firm to ship 100,000 AI bots that will learn complex human roles. So everything in their eyes, human beings are, becoming, an issue in the workplace. All right, an issue with handling aircraft, an issue, with cooking food, an issue with being doctors. Everything will be replaced. As you can see, all right, world's first home AI robot chef cooks over 100 meals. Okay. I didn't mean to bring that out, but this is, AI robots will take over complex human roles. Okay. So pretty much AI will be the answer, all right, to everything. All right, that will be the answer to all of the world's issues. All right, that will be their form of peace and safety. We're witnessing end time prophecy right before our very eyes. Okay, this is not, because when the scriptures say, Daniel 7:25, let's read this in the NLT. It says, he will defy the Most High and oppress the holy people. Defy means what? What does it mean to defy the Most High? What does it mean to defy something? Openly resist, refuse to obey. And that's the problem with the earth, is that the devil refuses to obey the order that the Heavenly Father commanded. Okay, challenging. Okay, of a thing, make an action or quality almost impossible, appear to be challenging someone. So he's challenging the Most High. Okay, he's disobeying the Most High. He's going against the Most High. That's what this AI and this system that they're setting up is all about. Defying the Most High, okay, and oppressing, all right, the saints. He's oppressing everyone, but he has his eyes on the saints, the Israelites, okay? And he's going to use these crazy situations to set up and justify him using this technology to police you, to govern you, to work, to do everything, while he sits back as the Most High God and becomes a God via technology. Okay, this is Second Thessalonians, the second chapter, who opposeth himself above all that is called God.
Connected, which means you have to rebuild and take down and change infrastructure, and you have to get people on board with the changes of infrastructure, which I've talked about in regards to Donald Trump firing federal employees. This is all transitioning over now to AI governance. That's what you're seeing. So people are going to focus in on surface level debates, and they're never going to look at technology as the enemy. They're never going to look at artificial intelligence as the enemy and how they want to implement this, and they have to sabotage the system to get it in place. It's not a sexy narrative. It's not something that people want to hear because people are attached to their technology anyway. They're attached to these memes, these apps that they use to create memes and GIFs and all this other stuff using AI. They don't want to hear it, but that's the truth of the matter. So now the narrative that's out there is that the Reagan air traffic control tower was understaffed. So now you could start looking at how they're trying to play people, right? Understaffed, Trump firing federal workers or asking them to resign, DEI, incompetent humans. That's where we're headed towards, right? And this is a narrative they've been trying to implement for quite some time. So we have things out there that tell us that this is a false flag op, right? We know that the air traffic controllers asked the commercial plane to change runways, and conveniently it was runway 33, which tells everybody out there who is awake, it should tell you that it's a false flag. They always code their false flags with the number 33. On top of that, you have the design of the Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport, which obviously has a very visible upside down pentagram. Now, this is something we see all around Washington, D.C. We've seen the obvious things around the White House where they have the streets of Washington, D.C. from an upside down forming an upside down pentagram with the White House being at the bottom point of that pentagram. Well, you can see the pentagram in there, which tells you that chances are that this was also a sacrifice. But you can't prove these things when it comes to sacrifice rituals other than by pointing out the obvious like that and then talking about the technology they have and how it's almost virtually impossible for a military helicopter, a DARPA Black Hawk, to crash into a commercial airliner. So knowing that it's by design, you have to just start paying attention to what they're feeding you, right? Because remember, the news isn't to inform you, it's to condition you, right? So the narratives that start coming out, did Donald Trump freeze hiring of air traffic controllers? What we know. It's entire articles from Newsweek, USA Today, New York Times, talking about, well, maybe we're not going to say it fully, but Donald Trump has freezed the hiring and he's trying to get federal employees fired so that were they shorthanded at this specific airport. Here's other things that are out there. Staffing was not normal at Airport Tower, according to a preliminary FFA report. And this is a common theme you're going to see around the United States of America, which is being done by design. Staffing at the air traffic control tower at Ronald Reagan National Airport was, quote, not normal for the time of day and volume of traffic, according to an internal preliminary Federal Aviation Administration safety report about the collision that was reviewed by the New York Times. And again, this comes out how quickly? Within 20 hours of this event actually happening, right? So the controller who was handling helicopters in the airport's vicinity Wednesday night was also instructing planes that were landing and departing from its runways. Those jobs typically are assigned to two controllers rather than one. This increases the workload for the air traffic controller and can complicate the job. One reason is that the controller can use different radio frequencies to communicate with pilots flying planes and pilots flying helicopters. While the controller is communicating with pilots of the helicopter and the jet, the two sets of pilots may not be able to hear each other. And I brought up...
See, so all of these issues that human beings are presenting are going to be fixed by making everything safer through AI. And we'll show you their plan. You get a few other articles or scriptures and close it out.
In my previous video, when you start looking at the way stuff is getting worded, right? Autonomy, common theme of the World Economic Forum, common theme of the United Nations, common theme of the New World Order, autonomous systems, artificial intelligence, infrastructure. The thing that Donald Trump said from day one, he was going to invest heavily in, so much so that we were going to build our own power plants to run these data systems, literally building out Skynet to track and monitor every step that you take. There will be no escape, right? So here's the World Economic Forum talking about how to bring AI into the physical world with autonomous systems. This is what the goal is. This is what the fourth industrial revolution is, right? And again, it's nice to look at all these things and say, yes, there's a pentagram there, and we can say that it's a sacrifice. But if you want to pay attention to what they're really doing, those things that we talk about, there's truth to all of it. We know they commit human sacrifice. We know anytime people die, quote unquote, in the line of fire of a false flag event, that there's a ritual involved. Everybody knows on the 11th day of September that that was a massive ritual. We saw it. We didn't just have to guess that it was a ritual. We saw that it was a ritual. How did we say? We saw the aerial shots of the all-seeing eye while the police officers were marching the next morning while smoke was still coming out of the ground. We know the people involved in the rituals that they partake in. So we know those things, right? We saw the Oculus next to where the World Trade Centers once stood. We saw what else? We see those giant 2 holes that they put in the ground. It's signs and symbols all around us, right? That reveal this. But the thing no one pays attention to is infrastructure, because it sounds boring. If someone knocked on your door and said, I want to talk infrastructure, you would say, what does that even mean? Why do you want to talk to me about what? Huh? Who? Where? It's more interesting to talk about what? Diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? Because then you could ramble and rant about things that bother you. Like
right, that plays on people's emotions and inclusion agenda. It just lumps Jake into these talking points and things that have nothing to do with Jake. Jake is just lumped into it, all right, via these agendas. So they killed 2 birds with 1 stone, all right. But we'll get into the pseudoscience talking point of what Trump is talking about with DEI and low-hanging fruit. But we're going to focus in this one on the AI aspect of what's to come from this.
Government normalizing insanity and convincing half of our population to be insane and live like insane people and think that they're normal and consider you hateful for questioning what in the world they're actually doing, right? Surface level thinking. So what I want to show you is something that, in addition to autonomous planes, I talked about those DARPA Black Hawk military helicopters in a separate video. I talked about how those are autonomous. They've been autonomous. They're going to just tell you that somebody was flying the plane. They're never going to admit that this was flown with no human being inside, because then people would say, well, then I'm never getting in one. Right? If a story came out every second of every day about driverless vehicles crashing and killing people, you'd think twice about getting one, right? They like to hide those stories. They like to hide the stories about the EV vehicles blowing up in people's garages. Do they get out sometimes? Yeah. DARPA military helicopters don't fly into commercial airliners every night. It's a very rare thing. In fact, I don't recall a time that this has happened in recent history, especially a military plane crashing into an airliner. We have airliner crashes from time to time where we can speculate, we can see who was on board, right? Doctors who are going to cure this or do that. Well, this situation, we look at it and we can just automatically go, okay, and they're not going to admit to us that these are autonomously flying, because they know that then you'll either say, well, if it's autonomously flying, why was it flying like that? Were you trying to kill the people on the plane? Or the second thing they would think is, I'll never get on one of those. So they can't have you thinking like that. But autonomous flying is one thing. The other thing is these airport towers. These airport towers are going to become obsolete. They keep telling us quietly, if you've been paying attention, they keep telling us that these things are dated, that they're not necessarily safe, that we need to upgrade the system. So what do you think the upgrade's going to be all about? You think they're just going to, get a new modem and stick it in there and a new router? Okay. U.S. air traffic control towers need to be upgraded because they age, become less safe and efficient. The FAA is investigating in upgrades and replacements to improve the safety and efficiency of air travel. Well, they know what the upgrade is. The upgrade is AI. It's just a matter of how do we get you on board with complying to this, which means, 1, removing human beings from doing jobs. Well, like the Bible tells us, eventually we're going to live in a world where people, become cold and distant from each other. Well, you're in it right now because people.
Yep, the love of many has waxed cold. Technology has a lot to do with that. Iniquity, sin, being allowed has a lot to do with that. People are depressed, unhappy. Everything's broken. Everything's closing down. But technology is advancing. But humanity is going backwards. All right? Because the law, statutes, and commandments being instituted is the only way that this earth can flourish. All right? And paradise can be set up. See, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So although everybody has a phone in their hand, everybody, you can do this, you can do that with all of this technology, people aren't happy.
People can't even look each other in the eyes anymore. People can't communicate with each other based on their political affiliation or their gender or all these things that they're creating, right? So people care less and less about human beings having jobs. That's for sure. Nobody seemed to care when all of these people lost their jobs a couple years ago because they didn't want to poison themselves willingly, right? Nobody cared. So what makes you think they're going to care now? They're not. They're not. They're going to think more in terms of, well, I don't want some DEI maniac controlling the air traffic control center when I'm on an airplane. That sounds dangerous. I can't take a chance. I fly all the time. I fly from New York to LA. I can't.
And somehow that implied Jake. All right. because Jake's all mad about the DEI program. They're boycotting Target. Okay, and it's not like every DEI hire is some, absolute, reprobate, but, or some DEI, or Jake, inclusion, all of that is some absolute reprobate. But it's a mess, all right? And they have a big plan coming, all right, for the mass majority of the people. But we'll get into that on another lesson. Let's just keep going with this.
Can't take a chance like that. How am I going to do? Get on a plane and be able to not have a panic attack, knowing that when I land in LA, which is a liberal state, humans will still be needed. Of course they will. They'll tell you still humans will ultimately be in control until you build your trust in the technology, until you hear stories about how artificial intelligence stopped this plane from crashing and artificial intelligence stopped this car from crashing because it could see ahead of time and save people's lives. That's what they're going to start doing to you, convincing you, hey, you know what? We don't even need the people in the control towers anymore. Don't worry if there's a blackout or anything like that. Well, you won't really have to worry, right? We'll be connected to Starlink anyway because everything's going to be autonomously connected to Starlink, like your tractors, like I covered with John Deere recently. But let me show you what the plan is. And you might look at it and say, well, why would they have to do all this to get to that? Well, there's lots of things that go into how they get you on board with stuff. If we all woke up 10 years ago and they told us that we were going to be living under artificial intelligence surveillance, et cetera, we'd all say absolutely not. So what have they done over the last 10 years? Making crime normal in all cities, showing us people getting pushed in front of trains, in front of cars, making us go, okay, maybe we...
Yeah, allowing people to just walk in stores and grab things and, it's just like, what the hell is going on? Again, problem, reaction, solution, control, and order out of chaos. Okay, is what the ritual we're seeing take place. But I want to get to the point where the tech making airport towers obsolete.
AI and this connection between Trump and the World Economic Forum, a lot of people would start pushing back. You did notice a couple years ago when they were trying to stick poison in people, there was a lot of pushback that they did not expect. Because trust me, I've been anti that for a long time. And the movement of being against, getting that shot for the flu and everything else was very small up until that time period. People were going, well, I don't get it anyway. I don't care. Well, until the government was telling you they give you a lap dance and a gift card to Arby's, if you would go and put this inside of you, and doctors forcing people pretty much
hidden 200 feet down in the base.
Apply to it. Look.
The tower at London's Heathrow Airport is hiding a secret. While air traffic controllers at the top of the tower direct planes to take off and land using sight, radar, and voice, hidden 200 feet down in the base of Heathrow's tower lies the next generation of air traffic control.
The next generation of air traffic control. Digital. Okay?
Digital AI tower. Here, companies are testing whether high-definition cameras and AI algorithms could bring air traffic control into the 21st century. That's because while air traffic has increased fivefold over the past 4 decades, the method for managing air traffic hasn't really changed much at all. So while towers have become an iconic part of any airport, this technology could be their demise. Here's how digital towers are reshaping airports. What you're seeing here isn't a window. It's a live feed from an array of high-definition cameras mounted here, just below Heathrow's tower, which are stitched together to create a panoramic view of the runways.
So the views behind me are the views that the controllers see out of the window, and in fact, to the millisecond are seeing out of the window as we speak now.
The system is being run by NATS, a company that provides air traffic management services to the UK. Andy said that as well as showing the view from the tower, an algorithm is overlaying radar information on each aircraft, making it far easier for a controller to identify which plane is which. And the cameras don't just have to go in a tower configuration. They can be distributed anywhere around the airfield, providing views at ground level during low clouds, or even allowing the air traffic controller to effectively see through buildings.
Controllers can jump electronically 2 or 3 kilometers along the surface of the airport instantly, see objects that are hidden by a terminal building as if they were right beneath the air traffic control tower.
Once you have cameras everywhere, the video can also be sent to machine learning algorithms, like this one being developed by Canadian airport technology firm Searidge. Here, an AI model is using visual processing to identify the support vehicles around the aircraft, like stairs and baggage trolleys, and can instantly determine whether they're in place quickly enough for the plane to make its next departure, something that's currently estimated by ground staff. While turnaround speed may not be a huge deal for passengers, for airlines it's big business. After all, planes that aren't flying don't make money. A Boeing study found that if you take 25 minutes to turn around a 500-mile flight instead of 35 minutes, you could squeeze in almost 200 extra flights in a year. The software is also capable of identifying when an airplane has safely left the runway, even in low visibility, allowing aircraft to continue to take off and land with high frequency in low cloud, and potentially reducing near misses.
An AI will happily monitor a wide range of things simultaneously, whereas a human has to focus on particular areas one at a time. So going from a human scan around an airport to AI being kind of omnipresent in terms of its monitoring, I think is a real bonus, because you then provide the controller with more headspace to do the decision making.
Now, while this technology may seem somewhat futuristic, aspects of it are already in use today. If you've ever landed at London City Airport in the UK, you may have assumed that this traditional control tower-looking building was where the air traffic controllers sit. But they're actually in a digital tower over 70 miles away in this building near Southampton, viewing cameras from atop this tower adjacent to the airport's runway. And in Norway, this digital tower hub, run by airport group Avinor, is being used to provide remote air traffic services to 9 airports across the country, and is set to expand to 21 by the end of the decade, with controllers able to handle traffic at up to 3 airports from the same workstation. Digital towers could also solve one major headache for airports: having to move their towers. See, as air traffic continues to grow and airports expand, existing towers often end up in the wrong place. Removing them isn't exactly cheap. When Heathrow began plans to build a new terminal, over here, the old air traffic control tower, which was previously right in the middle of the airport, was now over a mile away from the new terminal.
The view direct from that air traffic control tower was not sufficient to be able to see Terminal 5, let alone the operations around it.
A decision was made to build a brand new tower in the new middle of the airport at a cost of £50 million, which back in the year 2000 was around $80 million. But a digital tower could have removed the need for Heathrow to move its tower at all.
A lot of air traffic control towers are end of life, or airports are expanding, and therefore they need new air traffic control facilities. A digital tower you could do for significantly less than that.
And that's an issue some American airports are facing right now. In a recent report, the FAA identified 31 towers across the US that are functioning beyond their intended design life. So,
see that? So they're going to have to upgrade everything, which is going to change the world around you. It's going to change how you fly. It's going to change how you shop. It's going to change how you eat. It's going to change how you buy, sell. This is going to be the new wave of life. Let's listen to some more.
Could digital towers be the answer? Well, the
scriptures told us in the book of Daniel, the 12th chapter, in the 4th verse it says, "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." And we're living at that time where knowledge, look at this word knowledge, is being increased. The word knowledge in the Hebrew is ditha. Knowledge, perception, skill, discernment, understanding, wisdom. But see, what we're witnessing is an increase in left-hand knowledge and left-hand wisdom. And that goes into the serpent. You see, we're witnessing an increase in cunning, as you see this, cunning wisdom, because it presents itself as if it's great. Again, as it says in Revelation, the 13th chapter, right? Revelation, the 13th chapter, and the 14th verse says, "And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast." Okay? Now, when you look up this word miracles, semeion in the Greek, okay, a sign and mark, a token, that by which a person or thing is distinguished from others and is known. And we can see clearly that this devil is operating on a different playing field. All right? They're talking about opening portals. They got CERN, AI, merging man with machine. They're putting, using the Lord's creation and all of these tests. Got monkeys playing ping pong with no, paddle or no controller, using its mind. You got pigs with chips in their brain. It's just a complete mess. But it's a sign. This is a sign, all right, that this is the man of sin. His technology, what he's doing, is a sign Prodigy, portent, an unusual occurrence transcending the common course of nature, and that's transhumanism, transcending. Look up the word transcending. Okay? Transcending, to go beyond the range or limits of something. Okay, and they have what is called transhumanism. Because within this, what they're boasting in is upgrading humanity, okay, transcending humans to fit with their new world. Okay, transcending the common, to go beyond. And I believe that's what the word meta means. Okay, meta definition. Showing explicit awareness. There's something where it says it goes beyond. There you go. Meta as a prefix, meaning after or beyond. And you have the whole metaverse. The word for forehead in the Greek is metapon. Okay, so we can see where all of this is going to go. Okay. Let's go back here. So, signs portending remarkable events soon to happen. And this technology is a remarkable event. And again, people are wooed by it. All right. The talking point of AI, as people see it, is like, wow, that's something out of a sci-fi movie. But people are being deceived. See? Because this devil, when you look at what he really has planned, okay, it all is going to be fulfilled in a, as you can see here, pseudonymous digital ID system, which is the modern day Tower of Babel, with plans for social credit score and carbon allowance. That's really the plan. This is the new enslavement. Okay? They had you in hardcore slavery, physically whooping your ass. Okay, then they transferred you over to contractual slavery, as you know, they emancipated you, meaning transfer of property. So you would transfer to the bankers, okay, in which you became slaves to these contracts. All right, then you became an economic slave, right? You know, you are a slave to debt. You know, well, now you're going to be a slave to their technocracy. And this is how you will be identified. This is how you will be able to, we'll know who you are. We'll know how much carbon is being used. We'll know your social credit score, which mimics what's happening in China. Okay? Again, OpenAI releases economic blueprint for the future. Okay? The keys to AI development are chips, data, energy, and talent. And these are the talking points of Trump. We'll come back to that. You know, these are the talking points with Trump and his guy Elon and the other, you know, rich elite Edomites that were with him. This is what they're all doing. Why do you think Jeff Bezos and all of, you know, Zuckerberg and all of these guys are wiggling around Trump? The technocratic solution, okay, suggests blockchain to curb government spending. Now, what is blockchain? Okay, blockchain technology is a secure, decentralized database, because what Trump is doing is he's pointing out all of these issues. He's freezing aid going to these various different countries to see what it is that we're sending. Why are we sending it? Why is the government allowed to, you know, do this and do that? We need this money to go into the pockets of the American people. So they're going to have what? Blockchain. They're talking about blockchain as a means to track government spending. Because right now, you know, these you know, governors and rulers, they're just doing all kind of wickedness, you know, funding all kind of evil. Well, Trump is supposedly coming to stop all of that, you know, sending $50 million to, you know, to the east, all right, for birth control. Why? What are you doing? So Trump is freezing all of these things, and anyone who you supposedly to be you love America, when you hear that, what people crying, "Hey, he freezing food stamp." Well, really, you should be like, well, that's a good idea, right? But all of these things that they're presenting to you as issues, which they are issues, all right, they're going to synonymously offer you solutions to these things. Because again, the left a mess. Okay, so blockchain technology is a secure, decentralized database that stores and records transactions. So again, when this MOTB system is set up, everything you buy and sell will be recorded, okay, with digital money. And see, they're now boasting, okay, that this data, everything needs to. And why do you think Trump is talking about setting up all of these data centers? Okay, Trump backs AI data centers, new generation of M to the R to the N to the IZA, GENE therapy. Why is Trump talking about this? Why are they trying to get, AI inside it? What are they doing? Okay, all of a sudden now, okay, they're introducing these things as answers to all of the and solutions to all of the problems that they've brought. Okay, Elon Musk says, let's see if it plays it. I can probably.
Technocrat solution. Musk suggests blockchain to curb government spending. By Vince Quill via Cointelegraph. Elon Musk says he wants to reorganize the federal government, so it's not surprising that the first step that he is suggesting is to track all government spending via blockchain. With President Trump doing a flip-flop to endorsing cryptocurrency, particularly Bitcoin, to set up a national reserve, Musk is dangerously close to suggesting crypto for government spending.
See that? Everything is going digital. Money is going to be digital. Okay, but they're saying basically governments need to be tied to this system so we can track and fix what's being, everything be recorded that we send out. Because right now, a president or a governor or a senator, they can just send aid or money, all right, to fund some wickedness. And no one would ever know. Well, if we have blockchain and cryptocurrency, okay, basically we can know and everything can be tracked and traced. That's the purpose of this all. And that's what the MOTB system will do as well. All right. It will be able to track and trace everything you do. Okay. In order for you to have money, it ain't no side job. Okay. Ain't no, black market. Once this new currency is set up. Okay. You cutting hair on the side. getting a little extra money. No, it all will be through a system. And you will be limited, controlled, tracked, traced. It'll be hell. How much carbon you output throughout months. Again, this will be hell on earth, man. You see what I'm saying? And they're presenting it and talking about these things, and people aren't really paying attention to what these devils are saying or doing because they're caught up in the emotional aspect. People dying, planes crashing, DEI, low-hanging fruit, black people marching and screaming and crying with misinformation on the internet about what Trump is doing. But nobody is paying attention to the reality of what's really happening right before our very eyes, especially our people.
With a huge stake in AI, Musk is bound to introduce government by algorithm. Patrick Wood, editor. Elon Musk, the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, is reportedly exploring implementations of blockchain technology in U.S. government operations to track and reduce federal spending. According to Bloomberg, the Doge is also looking at using blockchain to secure data, make payments, and manage buildings as part of the Doge's efficiency push. Personnel from the newly commissioned non-government department have also met with representatives from public permissionless blockchain networks to consult about potential use by the U.S. government. The initiative is part of Musk's broader goal of eliminating trillions of dollars from the annual federal budget and ensuring government accountability through transparency.
See, and on the surface level, that sounds great, but there is another agenda behind it. You see, there's another agenda behind it. It begins OpenAI debuts ChatGPT Gov for governments. Again, this man is more subtle than any of the beasts of the field, man. He is very sly. Okay, the scriptures, I mean, and then this is why we're praying to the Lord to hide us from this counsel. Okay, let's get Psalm 64. Psalms, the 64th chapter and the 2nd verse. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. This is exactly what they're doing, man. This is insurrection, a conspiracy. They're conspiring. The word conspire means two or more planning and plotting evil. And the CIA weaponized the word conspiracy to where now that's tied to people who are crazy when all of the theories have become true. Who whet their tongue like a sword, okay? Because everything we're witnessing is a part of their sword as well. It's not just a physical sword to harm people, you know, where you bleed physically. No, they're cunning hunters of souls. When the scriptures say Esau's a cunning hunter, okay, when Esau hunts animals, let's get that real quick. Cunning hunter. Let's see. Okay, this is Genesis 25 and 27, and the boys grew old, and Esau was a cunning hunter, meaning if he wants a deer, he knows how to use sounds. If he wants a duck, he knows how to use sounds that are associated with the duck. He knows how to snare a beast into a trap so that he can get. He's very good with hunting. Well, he's also very good at hunting when it comes to souls. And that's one of the very sins of Babylon, is that they had the souls of men. And that's what this is all about, getting the souls of men in their control. He was a cunning hunter. Okay? Cunning. Let's look up the word cunning. Salakia. Cunning hunter. All right. Yadai. To know, to learn, to perceive, to discriminate, to distinguish, to experience. Okay, all day he's studying the people and figuring out ways to ensnare them. He gave you social media where you can just put your opinions out there. AI is just tracking everything, all right, and collecting data on you. Okay, to know by experience, to admit. So the same way he's cunning with hunting animals, he's cunning with hunting souls. Okay, and Nimrod was known as a hunter. Okay, when you deal with Nimrod, who ultimately was at the forefront of the Tower of Babel. Genesis 10 and 9, he was a mighty hunter. All right, and Cush begot Nimrod, which Nimrod means rebellion. All right, he began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Let's look up this word, hunter. Tazayad, hunter. Okay, hunting, provision, game hunted. And this is what he looks at you as, game. And when you go into the MOTB, right? When you go into the MOTB, one of the very definitions of mark, he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, because that will be the result of all of this technology and everything that they're bringing about. But the word charagma, okay, is a stamp, okay, an imprinted mark, you know, a mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand is a badge of the followers of the anti-Messiah. A mark branded upon horses. Now, why are horses branded? Why are horses branded? Horses are branded primarily as a method of identification to verify, and how you will be identified in this new world will be on this digital grid, which leans to, okay, the Tower of Babel. This is the book of Genesis 11:4, and they said, "Go to, let us build a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven. Let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the earth." So they were in, this guy Nimrod and his cohorts were in cahoots to establish a tower, all right, which some say it was a gigantic ziggurat. What do you do with a ziggurat? You go to the top of it and call to your gods, okay, to get things established on earth. That's why the heathen have their high places. Davos, Switzerland is a high place. But now this tower is going to be a digital tower, okay? And they want to make a name for themselves. You go to the word name, and this is what the elites of this world are doing. The word is sham. That's where you get shim. Sham, name, reputation, fame, glory, memorial, monument. So they're trying to make a name for themselves. Okay? Shawam, they're trying to appoint themselves. Okay? Extend, ordain, constitute, transform into. See that? Transform into. All right, this new age where, again, now, because is not America known as the land of Nimrod? Okay, they want to make a name for themselves, right? And when the Lord sent the angels to come check out what was happening, Genesis 11:6 says, "And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they all have one language, and this they begin to do. Now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do." And you hear the talking points of a one world order, okay? One world government, okay? Okay, this is pretty much where it's all leading to. Okay? This is what everything is leading to. Now, Trump is supposed to come and fight against this notion of a one world government, okay, and bring about a nationalist ideology to where, no, America's going to be at the forefront of everything. America will be, we're not going to, coincide with this global agenda that takes away from American people. And it sounds good, but synonymously, we're seeing all of these things being instituted and talked about that have everything to do with the globalist agenda. Okay? I think I was here. Let's see here. See that? AI data centers, because data is the new gold. Okay, data is being collected on you from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. OpenAI debuts ChatGPT Gov for governments. Let's listen to a little bit of this.
Announced its biggest product launch since its enterprise rollout, called ChatGPT Gov. The new platform was built specifically for the U.S. government and is being built as a step beyond the other models when it comes to security. The National News Desk, Jeff.
Security. See that? When the scriptures say, and we'll come back to this. Yeah, they're trying to make you into a cattle. This is 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction coming upon them. So all of this is a talking point of peace and safety. Okay, peace and safety. Let's go back.
Paris joins us. It seems like a very big week for AI, Jeff. OpenAI says this new platform is a tailored down version of ChatGPT. How do they both compare?
Think of ChatGPT Gov as the same thing as ChatGPT, Didi, but only for government use. It will allow government agencies to feed non-public sensitive information into OpenAI's models while still operating within their own hosting environments.
So AI is going to be governing the world to come. That's basically what they're telling you. What does this mean for you? You'll be clearly you're not going to have no job because AI is going to be taking the job. Okay, what exactly do they plan on doing with human beings? Well, the majority of you, they plan on sending your ass back to the spirit world. But the little bit of people they start over with, all right, will be subject to this new technocracy. All right, in government, and the oath you will take, okay, the oath you will take will be a charagma, a mark, to enter you into that new world.
Dole, a professor at Cedarville University, tells us the main difference between ChatGPT Gov and ChatGPT Enterprise is that agencies will be able to use it in their own Microsoft Azure cloud.
So the data is highly protected because it all is sitting inside of Microsoft servers.
Since the beginning of 2024, OpenAI says over 90,000 government employees have generated 18 million prompts within ChatGPT. Security is already in place, but this new platform is meant to take things a step further.
It's going to be secure. It's going to meet all the standards for government security.
When asked why OpenAI is launching ChatGPT Gov now, McDowell says in part because of China's DeepSeek.
Maybe stem the tide.
See how they're able to use China as a means to bring about this system. And when you hear about these devils talk about we need to be more like China, well, what is the environment in China? Okay, you're heavily surveilled, tracked, traced. You're identified digitally.
Of governments or those on the fringes starting to use DeepSeek.
Ramnath Chalapa, an information systems expert, says OpenAI likely took into account what the government is allowed to share and designed a platform around it.
Has created a model that will work satisfying those governmental requirements.
But he believes there are still some questions that need to be answered, specifically how it will benefit the public.
I think we'll have to wait and see to what extent the government...
It won't benefit, all right, humans, but this will be the new way of policing people, okay? Matter of fact, let's see what some comments say.
To what extent the governments think that this is going to be useful in their service to the citizens.
Now, CNBC is reporting that the new platform will be available sometime in the near future, and customers could potentially test and use the product live within the next month. Reporting for the National News Desk.
So, here we are, okay? Here we are, and your boy Donald Trump, all right, is bringing about a lot of this, okay? And you as a human being will be upgraded. You're going to have to be upgraded into this world they want. Let's see here. This is what I want to get into here. Okay, the World Economic Forum in Davos is spearheading a dystopian push for a digital ID linked, all right, pseudonymity, a move that would strip citizens of their online all right, anonymity, all right, and hand governments unprecedented access into their personal data, all under the guise of protecting democracy. Critics argue this is a perilous step towards totalitarian control, enabling governments to silence, all right, because that's another problem, people on the internet. So as you can see, technology is going to be the answer to everything. All of the world's issues are going to be answered by this new system that they're bringing. Okay? And these Satanists are all gathering together, crying to their gods to get it done. Okay? It says, despite mounting concerns, compromised governments are charging full steam ahead, rolling out slick propaganda campaigns to persuade the public that surrendering their privacy is a small price to pay for security and democracy. So they've created the absolute worst case scenario on earth, and now they're going to save you from it. Okay? And it has everything to do, all right, with that climate agenda. Okay? Let's see here.
OpenAI releases economic blueprint for the future. By Chris Lehane via OpenAI. The keys to AI's development are chips, data, energy, and talent. Humans make chips, generate data, produce energy, and supply brain power. Increasingly, AI will move into every domain. This blueprint is essentially a picture of CEO Sam Altman's brain that makes Pollyanna out to be a pessimist. It all hinges on the razor's edge, tipping over to autocratic rule or total reindustrialization. This country always succeeds when it bets on its ecosystem of builders and entrepreneurs. Patrick Wood, editor. The blueprint outlines policy proposals for how the U.S. can maximize AI's benefits, bolster national security, and drive economic growth. Today, OpenAI is releasing a new economic blueprint that lays out our policy proposals for extending America's global leadership in AI innovation, ensuring equitable access to AI, and driving economic growth across communities nationwide. As AI becomes more advanced, we believe America needs to act now to maximize the technology's possibilities while minimizing its harms. AI is too powerful to be led and shaped by autocrats, but that is the growing risk we face, while the economic opportunity AI presents is too compelling to forfeit. Shared prosperity is as near and measurable as the new jobs and growth opens in a new window that will come from building more AI infrastructure like data centers, chip manufacturing facilities, and power plants. As our CEO Sam Altman has written, opens in a new window, AI will soon help our children do things we can't. Not far off is a future in which everyone's lives can be better than anyone's life is now. With such prosperity in sight, we want to work with policymakers to ensure that AI's benefits are shared responsibly and equitably. This blueprint is designed to support the entrepreneurship and individual freedoms that have long been at the heart of the American innovation ecosystem. If done right, the developers who are AI's main street will thrive along with companies of all sizes, and the broad economic benefits of the technology will catalyze a reindustrialization across the country. We've been here before. America has faced similar moments in the past, and we know how to think big, build big, and act big. Now, it's time to channel that same spirit as we enter the intelligence age. Automobiles weren't invented here, they were invented in Europe. Early proponents envisioned the car transforming how people lived and worked. Supply chain.
And they want cars to be digital. Now, Trump is supposed to be against that and all of that. You know, we'll see, but that gives them more control. Everything is going to be, under this grid,
And customer bases could be expanded and diversified. But in the United Kingdom, where some of the earliest cars were introduced, the new industry's growth was stunted by regulation. The 1865 Red Flag Act required a flag bearer to walk ahead of any car to warn others on the road and wave the car aside in favor of horse-drawn transport. How could a person walk in front of a car without getting run over? Because of another requirement, that cars move no faster than 4 miles per hour. America took a very different approach, and the country became the heart of the world's auto industry, mass-producing affordable cars with the help of local, state, and federal officials who saw the industry's potential. Public safety concerns over horse-drawn vehicles on crowded city streets prompted local officials to support the switch to cars, not make cars yield to horses. The country's size prompted states to invest in better roads. And the federal government cleared the way to scale transport by car with a national, rather than state-by-state, highway system. Today, while some countries sideline AI and its economic potential, the U.S. government can clear and scale the road for its AI industry too. Continue the country's global leadership in innovation while protecting national security. Make sure we get it right in AI access and benefits from the start. Maximize the economic opportunity of AI for communities across the country. And just as drivers are expected to stick to clear, common sense standards that help keep the actual roads safe, developers and users have a responsibility to follow clear, common sense standards that keep the AI roads safe. Straightforward, predictable rules that safeguard the public while helping innovators thrive can encourage.
It's all about safety, safe. So OpenAI is a research company that develops artificial intelligence to benefit humanity. Okay, and who's at the forefront of this? A bunch of technocrats. All right, devils, man, anti-Messiah. All right, people who have no emotions. You see what I'm saying? So AI is going to be biased. All right, again, they're presenting this stuff as if it's going to help you, but again, they have a plan to be the Most High. Now let's go back here to Psalm 64. Hide me, in verse 2, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, because out of his mouth he says one thing, but he means a whole nother thing. From the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who wet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. Okay, these are bitter words. Okay, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect, and suddenly do they shoot at them and fear not. And this is all an attempt, all right, to get, all right, the remnant of Israel out of the picture, because with a system like AI set up, okay, they can get anything opposing them out of the earth. Okay, and the stage is set for them to wage war on you Israelites. Okay, they're just little by little, they're getting to where they want to get, but AI is going to help them to do the job. And as the elder Malcolm had a dream, you know, the environment on the earth was so bad in his dream because of the drones, the AI drones. When we think about a situation in Daniel, the 12th chapter, right? When we read about Daniel, the 12th chapter, where it says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which stand for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as was never since there was a nation on earth, because none of these ancient tyrants had the technology that these tyrants have. Your guy, Noah Yuval Harari, talked about that. All right, we now have the ability, because humans are hackable animals. You know, they look at the common average people as you know, hackable. You know, you're just another cattle, you know, in their pseudoscience. But he talked about how tyrants of old didn't have the technology that they have to control the mass majority of the people. So I believe this time of trouble is going to be, all right, associated with this technology that they're trying to bring in as if it's cute, safe, loving. Okay, I believe that time of trouble, to the point where we're gonna need divine intervention. You see, it's gonna have to do with this technology, because how could we win? How would we win if this was continued? Okay. See if we can find some of this devil said. And this is a small hat sodomite. Yeah, surveillance under the skin. We always show you that, but you can look up some of the bold things that this, all right, guy said, and he actually warns about AI. But sit and listen to some of the stuff this guy is talking about. The GR, humans have no soul, or just animals that will be hacked with juice. I mean, these people are crazy. And he's called the prophet of AI, the prophet of the new age. He's one of those left-handed witches and warlocks, that are sitting around making decisions based for the future and what they have planned for people. All right, these people are crazy, man. Sometimes sit and listen to this guy.
And when you look back in history, people constantly compare the threat of automation and job loss in the 21st century to what happened in the 20th century. In the 20th century, you saw automation in agriculture, so lots of unemployed farm workers moved to working in industry. And then when automation reached the industries, they moved to working as cashiers at Walmart. But in those cases, what happened was that people lost low-skilled jobs and transferred to other low-skilled jobs. Moving from being an agricultural worker to working in some car factory in Detroit, you moved from one low-skilled job to another low-skilled job. When you lost your job at the Detroit car factory and got a new job as a cashier at Walmart, again, you moved from a low-skilled job to a low-skilled job. But the next stage, if the next stage means I'm losing my job at 45, as a cashier at Walmart, and now there is an opening as a software engineer at Google designing virtual worlds, this is going to be much more difficult than moving from the car factory to Walmart. And it's very likely that even if there are new jobs, most of the unemployed masses will not be able to make the transition. It's also a big question about young people, that nobody really knows what the job market would be like in 20 or 30 years. It's really the first time in history that nobody has any idea what kind of jobs and what kind of skills people will need in 30 years, which means that we have absolutely no idea what to teach children at school. We may be facing in the 21st century a completely new kind of inequality, which we have never seen before in human history. On the one hand, the emergence of a new upgraded elite of superhumans enhanced by bioengineering and brain-computer interfaces and things like that. And on the other hand, a new massive useless class, a class that has no military or economic usefulness and therefore also no political power.
And this goes into that, they're tapping back into that eugenics, that science. All right. So, but you heard them, a super elite, with, enhanced, brain, C hips, all of this. These people are crazy, man. But anyway, I mean, I just wanted to bring out some information to kind of show you, when you hear these talking points of, of AI, take into a consideration that chip, because they're setting up a system in the planet Earth. Listen to a little bit more of this and we'll get up out of here.
The US was at one point testing 2 remote towers in Colorado and Virginia, but they've both recently ceased operations, and the FAA has instead launched a pilot program to test virtual tower technology that could be rolled out across America. But for now, while digital towers are going online around the globe, they remain uncertified in America, and it's set to be over 3 years before any remote tower system gets the green light. Which may help explain why the FAA's plan for those 31 sites is to set $500 million aside to aid the construction of new brick and mortar towers.
There you go.
So, for now at least, it seems like the iconic air traffic control tower will continue to be a staple for many American airports. But if this technology becomes certified in the US, could it spell the end of the airport tower? Or even the end of the air traffic controller? Well, in Norway, the company running the Digital Tower Centre said that while its remote towers aren't a downsizing process, they acknowledge that not everybody will be able to relocate.
Humans will be useless. They will be a useless class of people, and according to their science, they can just get them up out of there. That's where this is all going.
From far-flung airfields.
Or subject your ass to a 15-minute city, if you are allowed to be alive,
To their remote tower centre. And while AI may be used to provide more and more information to the controller, Searidge say their technology is not a replacement for human control.
We'll have to see as AI capability increases, but there is a real opportunity to support operations now. There is a global shortage of air traffic controllers, so actually being able to be more efficient with our use of that finite resource is quite important.
So that's the future that they have for us, right? Doesn't it look a lot like the pictures you see when you look at the World Economic Forum articles and they show you cities that are all connected, right? Does anyone pay attention to the imagery of it? You look at it, you go, oh yeah, we're interconnected. Wait, what? There's literally everything is connected. So when I talk about infrastructure, it means buildings. It means that small pizza shop owner having a shop, and then Amazon moving in next door and building a shop from the ground up. And Amazon having the entire thing run wirelessly. You can go inside without using a credit card or cash. You can walk in and out of the store like the Amazon Go stores, and you can just pick things up off the shelf and leave. But next door, you got the pizza place, right? And what's his infrastructure? Cash only. Well, that's not going to work, right? So what are you going to do? Go over there and say, hey, we want you to shut down your pizza place because we want everything to be AI. We want everything to run through Wi-Fi and digitally on this entire road. What if he just goes, no, I'm good. I don't care. They go, hey, we'll give you $10 million. Or pizza place is worth 50 grand. And he goes, I don't want to. It's been in my family forever. I want to keep it, right? Well, then, of course, then they start saying, well, how do we need to tear these buildings down and rebuild them. We need to tear down airports and rebuild them. We need to tear down stadiums and rebuild. Everything has to be rebuilt with this infrastructure embedded in it. It's a control grid where you can't escape or go anywhere, right? So obviously, what do they do to the pizza place? Long story short, well, they burn it to the ground and tell you that it's a wildfire because you wouldn't sell and you wouldn't move, right? These are the things that they're doing, but they're trying to implement AI infrastructure. And it's everywhere, and it's in every business, and it's in every aspect of our lives. From driving cars, not being able to drive anymore on our own, right? How many stories are we going to hear about autonomous driving? How it's safer, how accidents occur less because people are texting and driving, right? And now people can text and drive, they don't have to look up. Oh, that sounds great, right? And then on the airplane, right? You don't want to worry about the air traffic controllers. There are enough workers there. We're firing government workers. Who are we replacing them with? Oh, right, we're replacing them with AI. Well, we're going to need AI towers, right? And then, of course, eventually these planes will obviously be connected completely to the towers through higher levels of 5G to 6G to 7G to 8G. These things will fly autonomously. You'll have zero control, and you will live fully in a control grid. These are the things that they are implementing. We can look at all the false flags. We can look at all the psyops. It's easy to see. You look at the narratives that come out after. What are the narratives that have come out in 24 hours, right? Air traffic control tower was understaffed. It was understaffed because Trump has been firing federal workers. Well, what's the narrative on the other side? Well, it wasn't understaffed. It was incompetency because of DEI hires. And these people continue to fight and not pay attention to what they're actually doing. Problem, reaction, solution. Here's the solution. How about we get artificial intelligence? You guys all seem to agree that you love your phones, right? You guys all seem to agree that you love your tech. You love this app, right? Well, true. I do. We love our tech. All right, well, let's bring in our tech, and we could still argue about our differences on certain things, but we'll bring in this infrastructure. It's all run through tech. And then what? We don't have to worry about safety. We don't have to worry about idiots being hired. Nope, don't got to worry about any of it. We created the idiots by design. Don't you see? So we could bring in the AI infrastructure, and then, of course, make human beings obsolete.
There you go. All right. So Psalm 64:5, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune in laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. See? So we're living at a time where now all of their plans are being revealed. They were doing everything in secret, but now the cat's out of the bag. So they're boasting and getting control of information. You know, they're boasting and fixing, restoring trust, fixing the system, and all of these various different things, man. Yep. Tony Blair urges UK Gov to roll out digital ID. So again, this is the modern day Tower of Babel being boasted in. Again, remember, when you get the book of Micah, okay, America, which this is what this is symbolizing in this chapter, okay, is referred to as the land of Nimrod, because America is the modern day Assyria. So this is Micah 5:6, and they shall waste the land of Assyria with the sword, and the land of Nimrod in the interest thereof. Thus he shall deliver us from the Assyrian when he cometh in our land and treadeth in our borders. So when these devils come after us, because that's what this is all going to lead into, we're going to be in an environment like Nimrod, okay? And then it says, and the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people, as the dew from the Lord and as the showers upon the grass. So the Lord is going to have to intervene. Some of us are going to get spiritual power. It's going to get so bad. But why is it calling this the land of Nimrod? Because this is the land of rebellion. This is because Nimrod means what? I believe it means rebellion or valiant. There you go, rebellion. And this is double rebellion. All right. Namrad. Namara. And what do you have in that word is mara, which that's bitter. Okay. And that's in the word America means bitter. And Jeremiah likens this place to the land of Marathaim. Let's get that real quick. Pequod. Yep. This is the book of Jeremiah 50:21. go against the land of Merathium, even against the inhabitants of Pekod. And these are code names for America, Babylon the Great. And when you look up this word Merathium, you have that same Mara, all right, which America means bitter. It was named after Amerigo Vespucci. All right, what does a martyrgo mean? Martyr, a martyrgo. It means bitter. All right, Merathium means double rebellion. So Nimrod's plan would be the plan of the elites in this time, and it will be a double rebellion. They will go even harder than what Nimrod tried to do. And when you go into what Nimrod did, let's go to real quick. Let's see. Josephus' account of the Tower of Babel explains it as a defiant act against God. Let's see. The Antiquities of the Jews, which Josephus was a historian. We just go to him for, particular history points. Let's see here. A great part of the earth and joy. It says, now it was Nimrod who excited them in such an affront and contempt of God. He was the grandson of Ham, the son of Noah, a bold man of great strength of hand. He persuaded them not to ascribe it to God, as if it was through his means they were happy. So he took he basically made the people godless and wanted them to depend on him for everything. He believed that it was their own courage which procured that happiness. And this is what Esau setting himself up to create an environment. This is how you get happiness. Technology is the way to happiness. Technology is the way to safety. Merging man with machine, making a new human will make the earth safer, because the way God did it, it doesn't work. And the purpose, the reason that the earth is so bad is sin. So he's going to fix sin with sin? No, it's not going to work. This is why destruction has to come. He gradually changed the government into tyranny, seeing no other way of turning men from the fear of God to bring them to a constant dependence on his power. And this is what he's done through his technology. Now he wants to take it deeper. He also said he will be revenged on God, all right, if he should have a mind to drown the world again, for he would build a tower too high for the waters to be able to reach it. And when we deal with this guy, Noah Harari, he talks about Noah's Ark. Let's see if we can find that. Let me end it off in a minute. He talks about that. He talked about a digital Noah's Ark. Maybe I can look it up this way. You could look it up. We ain't got to. He talks about a digital Noah's Ark, but it says basically in Noah, that guy, he likes to talk about how if the Most High brings a plague, we got our own water, we can make water. We're not scared of this God. Our technology can defeat God. All right, we'll be all right. Now the multitude were very ready to follow the determination of Nimrod and to esteem it to a piece of cowardice to submit to God, and being godly and keeping the law, all of that is looked at as being a coward. They built the tower, all right, neither sparing any pains or being in any degree negligent about the work. The planet grew very high, thickness, yada, yada, yada. And this was that one world order of that age. Even Antiochus in the time of the Greeks tried to start a one world order. Well, they're doing that now, and they now have the technology to complete it. Tyrants of the old time didn't have this technology. All right. But that's pretty much it. Other information, but we're in that time, man. So hopefully y'all are edified. Shalom.